Hey, Matt, what is it like to be able to illustrate something that controversial? And
When I started, I first wanted to be a political cartoonist. I grew up in the era of Watergate, came of age. I was doing political cartoons for my local paper when I was 13 years old. So for something like this, to be able to have that kind of mantle or that opportunity is something that's I feel very fortunate. It's something I'm really humbled by using myself. Like this is a picture, I took this picture of my basement, and like I'll take like a piece of black gray felt and put it around me, and then I'll set up the camera and set it on the timer and run and take the picture.
This is your basement in Baghdad?
My basement in Long Island.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I got confused.
A lot of basements on Long Island are covered in blood.
Yes.
Oddly.
Mine's digitally covered.
In a sense, too, like your work as a filmmaker, you really start from a place of authentic moments.
Yeah. That's how Knocked Up came about. Was Seth Rogen was pitching me a big special effects comedy, like a Ghostbusters kind of movie. And I said to him, I think you're funny just standing there. In that moment, I go, you could just get someone pregnant. That would be enough for like a whole movie. So my argument against doing that, I realized was a good idea for a movie. Like, then I just started laughing. But then Seth just directed a movie called This Is the End with Evan Goldberg as writing partner. And it kind of is that movie in a way, that not the exact one, but that's what he wanted to do, is a big imaginative end of the world sci-fi kind of movie. Right. And it's amazing. It's hilarious. It does capture their hearts and their spirits because he loves that. Right. But for me, I'm generally stuck with how do you be happy? How do you not kill each other? How do you get along with other people? And maybe if I felt like I resolved some of that, I would add the other elements, but I don't think I ever will, because I'm so lost and spiritually lost. I don't have answers to anything that I love watching people try to figure it out.
One of the stories that I became familiar with, your name, Matt, was when you did the Texas prison system.
You were going into a world where all the dysfunction, all the pain, all the stuff was right there, and every cliche that I'd ever seen in a prison movie was there. I had people shoot welding sparks at me, spit on me, just all kinds of crazy. I mean, these were dark. You understand.
Silence of the Lambs.
Well, you understand why prisons exist. You understand why these places have to be. But within that was this unbelievable, like if you were a filmmaker or whatever, you had gone into the most incredible set that was already built, cast beyond your wildest imaginations with these characters that were just so deep and dark and troubled and all that. And basically I found that all that tension, all that stuff was the thing that pulled me in. That was the thing that drove me to go deeper into it and connect with it.
What was this
here?
moment? Yeah.
They trained the dogs to hunt down any escaped prisoners. So these guys worked on the dog detail, and so they would go out in the morning and they'd put on this protective suit and they'd go out and they'd hide. And then I went with the dog sergeant. Here I am with this $3,000 Hasselblad that I'm barely figuring out how to use with this 200 millimeter lens on it. And there I am, not trained on a horse, romping through the rural Texas farmland with these dogs just running all in and out and stuff. And then we get there and this guy's there, and then the dog's sick on him, and they just were trying to tear him apart. And I was trying to take pictures from the horse. And I said, God, I would love to get closer. He goes, you can get down, you can go over there. They're not after you, they're after him. So I walked out with no suit on or anything.
How do they know they're after
with
him?
with a normal 80 millimeter lens or whatever, and just walked right up. One of the dogs came over, sniffed me a second, it's not your day, and just went back after this guy.
That's amazing.
And then out of that, I found that this guy is in charge of taking care of the dogs. And so he has to stay up all night, and these guys love these dogs. And so they stay up with them, they coddle them, and for some of them, maybe it's the first thing they got a chance to love in their life. I know it sounds cliche, but when you get in that world, you see these things exist for a reason. And then these guys have to train these dogs to want to kill them, and it just perpetuated that whole thing of the cycle of these people with lack of opportunity, or hope, or future, or whatever. So you find these things, and it's like the most incredible, dark Shakespearean play, and you're just moving through this set and these characters, and you're just composing and connecting, and I also think the stuff that Judd does, in Knocked Up, which is one of my all-time favorite comedies. I mean, really was the humanity that's put in that, the way that people are personally challenged to face themselves. I think it's all a service.
That was the first photograph. I ever bought, and I thought it really captured a comedian's life really well. It's like a miserable, exhausted person.
But hilarious.
But yeah, it's kind of like funny, but painful.
The busiest week I ever had in my career was after 9/11. Not only could I statement my feelings and emotions out about what happened, but in some really very, very small part, I was able to help my friends because they were all in here in their offices and the buildings were literally smoking while they're trying to lay these pages out and do their job.